What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Kevin and Tenisha Mix It Up. We are excited to get this underway. We're excited to jump into season 2. We had a lot of fun recording season 1, and we have some new and fun things installed for everybody, like video. So you can check us out on all of the podcast apps, whatever your favorite podcast app is, or always hit up the YouTube. We are going to be putting all the podcast episodes on our family YouTube channel, the Rigby's Mix It Up. So definitely check that out in the description for either one of these links. So it's been a crazy 2020, and I think the biggest, we were ready to jump into the second season.
8 weeks after.
Yeah, right in the summer, and it just didn't feel right, and we're trying to find the right time, and the year kind of just flew by. For me, it's been weird. It's felt like at some points it's like this is the longest year ever, but then when I look at the calendar, it's August. It's about to be September.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So it's flown by, but it's felt like forever because we've been in the house. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I feel like it's been forever. Part of me wants 2020 to be over, but I think I feel like 2020 felt forever because it was such an emotional and mental year. Like, a lot of the things that we were dealing with was very much emotionally driven. The level of uncertainty. I mean, I didn't think I was ever going to become a homeschool teacher.
Yeah.
Just the things that we didn't have control over and didn't have answers or guidance to provide us.
And still don't.
Correct. But I think as some people identify it as the new norm, which, I mean, whatever, if that helps you cope with the situation, by all means. But I would say that's why I feel like it's taken 2020 has been very long, because it's been very emotional. All of the coping skills that I've been used to using, I haven't been able to use because, anytime I go anywhere, you're fearful you're going to get COVID. So
it's been a crazy year, and that's been the biggest thing is when are we going to get back to this podcast? It's not like we haven't had the time at home, but being at home is different. Now when we have free time, it's like, let's take a drive. Let's, go somewhere and
sit
eat
in
safe.
Silence.
Let's go, and it's, now you're trying to get out of your home where before it's like, let me have some solace inside of my home. And, it's been different, but like I said, we're excited to jump back into this. This season of Mix It Up is going to feel a little different. I think last season, when we first kicked this off, we wanted to kind of provide a foundation for kind of who we were and our values, our beliefs, and kind of what makes our relationship work and what makes it go.
Yeah.
And for those of you that listen to that, now that you kind of know us, we're going to pivot a little bit and actually start mixing it up with others to get more perspective than just Kevin and Tenisha. Though we think we have some pretty good perspective, we definitely want to bring some other people into the mix and see what everybody else has to say.
Well, and I think too, it's great to connect to others because we may learn something and find something that is applicable to us. And hopefully people who are tuning in will be able to gain some information or insight.
Yeah, for sure. And we're, the goal is still the same. We're here to share our story. We're here not necessarily to teach or to educate or anything like that. It's just kind of us having a conversation with each other, with other people, and hopefully people have some takeaways. I know for me, that's why I listen to podcasts is and tune into the YouTube channels that I'm subscribed to, is just to get from it something. And it's not always, I don't even always get what I expected to get. So hopefully that, for everybody listening, you can kind of gain something, whatever that may be, if it's just entertainment or if it's some new idea in regards to life, family, relationships, what have you. That's what the goal for us is.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think third grade's going to be hard?
I'm not going into the third grade, so
we're going to be homeschool teachers.
Third grade, I think, is definitely going to be difficult. If it's anything, if this is anything like how my childhood was when my mom tried to teach me.
Yeah.
If like my son is anything like I was, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, he is.
And by a treat, I mean not a treat.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult. And I think that, I look forward to having some other guests on that are parents as well, going through this roller coaster of a school year with us. Gavin is going into the third grade, and he is going to be doing a hybrid schedule. So
2 days
3 days off,
school.
2 days on.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to be hybrid teachers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about it?
I remember third grade being hard. I remember like having spelling tests and having to learn multiplication and addition. Multiplication and division.
In third grade, you learned multiplication and division?
I remember that.
Oh, I don't remember third grade, but I do remember it was like the first grade that there was like some level of expectation. But
and then they have that standardized test that they have. So I don't know. That just creates a certain level of anxiety and pressure, especially when you're not accustomed to teaching, regardless of what they give you. We've always allowed our house to be somewhere where you can decompress and be able to engage in the things that you enjoy. And now it's pivoted, and now you can do both, but the primary will be making sure your schoolwork is done. So,
and your work for us. Yeah, I mean, that's been the most difficult thing for me is, initially thinking about it like, oh yeah, this 3 weeks off work is going to be great. I get to work from home for 3 weeks, and it was great, and I was productive. And that when that 3 weeks turned into 7 years, it's a lot different. It's not. I don't think it's hard to necessarily work from home and be productive for work for me, as long as there's not a lot of distractions. But then it's like when you're off work, I don't want to be at home anymore. Yeah. Like that's what was so good about getting off work. You got to go home.
Yeah. And I guess also in this past 6 or 7 months, there's been a great appreciation for the drive home that I once dreaded.
Yeah, you always complained about driving home.
I don't like to drive home I don't like to drive anyways, but I look forward to driving home. Just the level of silence that I get. Yeah. I don't even listen to anything anymore. I used to listen to
you work
criminal podcasts.
So for context, you work right now 2 days a week.
And 3 days at home.
3 days at home. So she's doing she's going to be on the same hybrid schedule as
Gavin,
our kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I'll be, working on and off, doing a lot of different things here and there. So I don't necessarily know when I'll be required to be at home or when I'll be meeting up with people on our team to film or shoot something or record something. So it'll be interesting, but I would definitely enjoy the time that I get outside of the house as well. I like driving. now, and I hated driving before. And I think that's the same for everybody. We are going to have so many things that we used to take for granted, that, hopefully we don't take for granted when this is over, or even right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So along those lines, we've been, I would say, like probably a lot of other couples who are working from home intermittently, we have, over the last 6 months, been around each other more than we ever have before. We've spent more time in each other's vicinity than we ever have.
Yeah.
Don't say yeah like that.
What?
So my question, I think, for you and me is, what are some like new things that may have arisen? Have you learned anything new about me? Do you have like new pet peeves about me, or has this been just pretty like on par for what we know each other to be like already?
I would say that it's on par for what we know each other to be already, but I would say you and Ava together has been something new.
In what way?
You're very much Ava's advocate. You are very much in Ava's corner.
That's my girl.
And it can be stressful at times.
What do you mean? Like,
well,
I need an example. I mean, I know that's my girl, but what's stressful about me? Like,
well, like she told me yesterday that when you were gone, Thursday you were at the summit. She was like, I have to be home with you. I would much rather be home with Daddy. You yell. And I'm like, I don't yell. You don't listen.
Which causes me to yell.
No, which causes me to redirect you in a more firm manner.
Yeah.
So.
But me and her have the same issues that you and her have.
No, it's. She doesn't say those things to you.
When you were gone, she did.
No.
She said, I want Mom.
Yeah, she likes the thought of me. So yeah, definitely a pivot in the relationship that you and Ava have in regards to y'all's morning routine. I'm very much, I shouldn't have to tell you more than twice. You'll tell her 17 times, and then you get frustrated. So it's just, those are the things where I'm like, oh my God, this is how his morning was every day.
Morning? Yes.
I couldn't do it. She would no.
Well, how about this? How about you just start taking care of the morning routine, and I'll start riding my bike in the morning.
What?
So if you listen to last season's podcast, we talked about riding this bike, and I still haven't been able to do that on a consistent basis because, the coronavirus and all.
Stop it.
Can't be out there just riding a bike around all these other people riding bikes.
Oh my gosh.
Dangerous out here.
Maybe you're going to the gym, but stop it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that morning routine, I've thought about that too. Like,
I have observed that morning routine, and that alone would make me exhausted. Like, and when you would travel, I had to get them ready. I never had those issues. But again, Ava was a lot younger, and Gavin already knew, like, oh, it's Mom. I better just go ahead and do it. So
yeah, my mornings are stressful.
That is outrageous.
I need help.
He does. So if any of you guys got tips for him, especially if you have a daughter, because they go through this emotional thing where if he raises his voice one notch above what he's currently speaking, she is in tears, and you would think she's been beaten to death. And it's very much an episode off of Barbie
episodes. Yeah. Yeah, it was not like that with Gavin, but I guess that's girls and boys, and that's why they're different, I guess. And moms and dads and relationships. And so yeah, if you have suggestions to help me out in my mornings, leave those in the comments, please, or hit me up if we're friends.
Something.
So I'm talking to like three people out there. Hit me up.
So yeah, that would be one of the things where I've identified. But as in regards to you and I, no, it's the same.
As usual, all the stressors that you've already had are still apparent.
Yep.
I haven't made any I don't even know how to say that word. Hedgeway. Is that a word? I think so. Fact check. No, nothing. No improvements. I put up that plant thing.
Yeah, I practically begged you.
I did it the same day you asked.
Yeah, I know, but I strategically asked you in front of my mom.
Huh. Well.
And you see the other one that I asked you to put up isn't up yet?
You said this weekend. This weekend is not over yet.
Okay, we'll see.
I think for me, it's just watching you work, and it's been interesting to see that process in effect. Mm-hmm. Like you talking with people, and it's so funny because, and I tell her this, I get to watch her like so like eloquently deal with a patient or a parent or a brother or sister, like someone in trauma, and she does it so well and she's so nice, and then she'll get off the phone and go, ugh. Like she's annoyed. But like it's like opposites. What I just witnessed was like the most caring, polite, nice person, and I'm like, my heart is all warm. Like, oh, you took care of that old man who's kept saying the same thing over and over and over and over. And then you're getting off the phone and you're so frustrated, and I'm like, you do such a good job, and it's annoying for you.
It's not annoying. I would say a lot of that is because in the process of having those conversations, I'm also having to self-regulate. Like I'm also having to be like, I just said the same thing 7 times. Yeah. Well,
at least nobody can see your facial expressions.
Yes. And I think, honestly, now that I have been having to wear the mask to work, I feel
people like you more.
My facial expressions have gotten worse because people don't see them. So I don't really have to monitor them as much as I had to before.
Oh, you're tripping. All your facial expressions are right here anyway.
No.
Right in your eye area. They're not in your mouth, so people see them.
Okay.
But I also, one of the funny things that I witnessed too is while I'm going through my stressful morning routine, Tenisha has already started her work day. So she gets to avoid that routine. And then she doesn't wake up early now. She just rolls out of bed and starts her work day.
I brush my teeth.
Do you?
I do.
And then her lunchtime routine is to take a shower. Like she's taking showers in the middle of the day now, and that is not going to go well when we're back to a normal life. You're going to be so prepped and ready to take a shower at lunch. Well, whose hospital room are you going to go into to take a shower? You're going to go into somebody who's a total assist and can't get up and get out of the bed and
sneak in there.
Yeah, you can take showers at work.
Oh my God, stop it.
I have a shower at my job.
Yeah, I know.
I've never used it. But yeah, I think for me too, like those are just a couple like things that I noticed, but there hasn't been, I think it's probably a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
That we're kind of still just on par. There hasn't been some explosion, or we haven't had any big arguments or anything like that being around each other during this time. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out here getting caught up because they text their boo things. They text their side pieces all day while they're at work. So that's probably a lot different for some people. But I don't have one of those. So everything's still good. We are okay.
Stop it. I don't have one either, if that's what you're waiting for me to say.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so I would also say, too, one of the things that I have discovered is the appreciation that my kids have for my plants.
Your plants? Yeah, we haven't even got into that yet. That's been a whole new thing.
Yeah, like it just took off. I think now that I know what works for our home and our lighting and the areas of our house, it's just great. Like now the kids have plants in their rooms and they're taking care of their plants, and you want one for your office one day. And then the garden, Ava goes out to the garden with me, and she waters the cucumbers and the carrots that didn't come in this year. But it's just a new appreciation for kids wanting to connect to me in other ways. And Gavin's heavily invested. Oh, he's like my cheerleader for Mary Kay, and Ava loves to do all things girly. So she's the reason why I have these Pepto-Bismol fingernails.
And she's only got one hand done right now.
She only has one hand because she didn't want to take the polish off that her daddy put on her other hand.
I didn't put that on her.
That's what she told me.
She did. She lied to you.
She did it?
She did that.
Oh my gosh. So that's why she only has one hand.
So let's get into that though. I think that's a kind of one of the biggest things to come out of this. I had a couple conversations with people, and I told them, like, 2020, as long as I don't get sick and we don't get sick, or people that we love, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are so lucky right now to not have experienced that. Yes. Yeah, we are so blessed to be healthy and to have a healthy family and friends and all of that. And I have close friends that it's not the same for them. So, but I say 2020 is one of the weirdest years, but probably one of the best years that we as a family have ever had, because we've had this opportunity we've had more time to try new things, to learn new things. And in regards to just having more time just in the drive, right? We're gaining 2 hours a day just driving to work, picking up kids, all of that, and then plus just your lunch, and we have other opportunities during the day to focus on new things. And because of the pivot of our jobs, we've learned new things. So you mentioned a handful of things that you were super into. So I guess my question is, like, what, maybe expand a little bit on those new things. And the kids are invested in them because you're invested in them. What got you invested in these things? You talked about plants, which we've always had, and they just have always died. We've never had 47 plants.
We don't have 47.
But we have 43 right now.
We have 24.
No.
Gavin and I counted on Thursday.
Okay, 24 plants. We've typically had about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You started, so we've exponentially increased the amount of plants, the garden. You started Mary Kay. What has kind of pushed you to try all these new things and get into new stuff?
So the plants started because Kevin was like, why does all of your family have fake trees in their house? So that
all sides.
That opened the door for
all 4 sides of your family.
Well, now we all have real. That kind of opened the door for me being interested in real plants. And then, like, my dogs would eat them and then they would die, or I would overwater them. So throughout our marriage, I've been gradually educating myself on plants and what it takes to take care of them, and like not using faucet water, using distilled water, preparing for the winter and fall. So just educating myself about that, and that kind of just navigated to where we are right now. The garden, I have been asking for flower beds for the past 7 years. I just want to throw that out there. And this year, I provided an ultimatum to Kevin, and I was like, you're going to give me flower beds. That was it. There was no if or then. That was pretty much it.
A command. It wasn't an ultimatum. It was just a command.
So, and he did. And I started them from seeds, because I'm one of those ones where if I'm going to do something, I'm going to be extra. So it was my first year.
You're telling me.
Okay, don't do that. It was my first year, and I was like, I'm going to start them for seeds. And I did, and I have like cucumbers coming out of my ears. I have jalapenos out the wazoo, and Ava's carrots still ain't came in yet, so I'm not sure what's happening. But I love the fact that my kids are invested in understanding what it takes to produce food. And it doesn't take a lot. And I've also identified that Gavin, because he's seen the process, he's more intrigued to try the food, because Gavin's a very picky eater.
And he tried the jalapeno. Like even went that far. So he's eating cucumbers a little bit, tried the jalapeno. So we just got to get some more stuff there.
He tried the purple bell pepper, and he tried the green bell pepper.
We just got to get some more stuff to pop off next year.
Yeah. And then the Mary Kay. So it was just, my aunt had been asking me to be a consultant for the past like 2.5 years. And I've always, I won't say always, but I have been using the product since she became a consultant in 2.5 years ago. And I've loved it. And I just never was interested. And one day I was just like, well, if I'm using it and I like it, why not share it? So, and Ava uses it. So I was like, I'll do it. So, and I've been loving it.
And like you said, you're not one to tiptoe. You're just going to go all in.
And I'm going to go all in. Yeah.
So she emptied the bank account one day, and I was like, where did all this money go?
Yeah.
And what was it for?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to double it.
No, I didn't say that.
I'm going to re-up.
Well,
when's the re-up coming?
Don't do that. I've brought all of the money back. But I just enjoy connecting. It was another way for me to connect to people, honestly, to be honest. And I think for a lot of women and men, skin is a very vulnerable and sensitive topic. And I know I struggle with my skin. I know several people who struggle with their skin, and just providing education and awareness in a judgment-free space where makeup isn't the fixer, but the enhancer.
Yeah.
So creating security within the foundation of you, which is your face, and then providing enhancements as needed. So, and I love the fact that Ava's invested, because I want her to be secure in all aspects of herself. We've talked about that in season 1 about me getting my locks and her understanding that, and her curls. So everything that I've done has a why.
Right.
So
it all connects to a greater purpose.
Yeah. But you've been out here doing the most.
Doing the most. Well, I think.
What have you been doing, mister?
I've been supporting everybody else and their journeys, but I think that is
through what?
Through technology.
Through your creative eye.
Yeah, through my creativity. But I think that for so long, it was always like, what is my why? And what is, and I've always been creative, but I think the connection really just has happened over this time is that I have been able to be creative through others. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a big part of, why I like being creative, is that I can help other people, or, kind of enhance, just like kind of what you were saying, enhance what they want to be doing. And in the process, I get to learn new things. And, I've always been a big learner, but it definitely seems like over the past 8 years or 9 years, the learning has slowly, it's been like on the decline, mm-hmm. where everything has become tunnel vision. And I think I did that unintentionally, is like my number one focus is my family and raising, being a husband, raising my kids, working on my faith and things like that. And over this time, I forgot that I was creative. Mm. And, there's been things that my job allows me to really push out my creativity, and always has, but that declined because of positions that I, accepted and took on that, really didn't lend themselves all the way to just have the freedom and time to be creative. But because of where we're at, I had more time, I had more freedom, more space. A lot of the day-to-day stuff that didn't have to do with creativity, like it went away because we're not face-to-face with people. I can't go to this meeting or go to that meeting, or so
you've had to use your creativity to, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but mm-hmm. you've had to use your creativity to be able to ultimately fulfill your mission and your purpose and your why. Through your employment, would you say?
Through my employment, which everything feeds into each other. Mm-hmm. I've gotten to be more creative at work because we have had, the funds and availability to purchase things that help help foster creativity or get me excited about that, which then leads, being creative there helps me, leads me to be creative at home, mm-hmm. And pursue new things with our kids. And then the more I learn at home provides, me more skills to be better at my job. And it's just a big circle. And, so 2020, not only did we start our podcast, it doesn't feel like that was in 2020.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like
it was only like 4 months ago.
That's wild, yeah.
We were able to start our podcast. From that, Gavin actually created his YouTube channel like 4 years ago.
He did,
and he wanted to do that, and it's always been something he's been interested in. And Ava is interested in whatever he's interested in, and it's just been something that we're like, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
I've learned new things because of work. I've been watching a lot of tutorials. I think we can have some fun and we can do this. So we started our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. We're starting the second season of this. I'm learning how to take pictures.
Gavin's learning because of you. Gavin's now interested in pictures.
Yeah.
He's using his iPad to capture things that he finds to be creative because of him wanting to be invested and learn as much as his dad is learning, to be able to share. Gavin has this thing about wanting to share his knowledge.
Yeah.
So him being able to share with his dad what he captured in his photography.
Yeah. So that's been me. Like 2020, I have been able to look at the world a little differently, with a creative eye now. And if I have an idea, it's not just a cool idea anymore. I'm more pursuant to like make that idea happen. Mm-hmm. And I have a space to do that. I have more time to do that. And at work and at home.
Yeah, I would say you, and because I know this is a passion of yours. I will say that because you're willing to stay up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning getting things done, where if it wasn't something, I mean,
yeah,
you've let clothes sit in the dryer for how many days? You know what I'm saying? Because that's not
only hours. I get those.
Oh, stop it!
I wash and dry and fold everything right away and put it all away.
Stop it! Didn't
I do all the housework.
Didn't I find you on the couch that one night during the Lakers game? Sleep.
Listen, it was a blowout. It was a boring game.
So stop.
So look, though, I think that has always been there with work. Like that's just especially during the summer when we're at our youth conferences, is like we're gonna stay up and grind and get these videos or get these things out, get these things done because we're passionate about it. And I haven't had the space and time, I guess, or I don't know what. I know, this is what changed. The world changed, but now I have that time, and there isn't like a limitation on. There isn't so much time constraints on my life. I can stay up. I can do a video until 1 because I can wake up at 9. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to wake up at 6:30. And that's going to change a little bit with back to school. But even if I don't have to wake up, get dressed, get in the car, drive. Even though I have to wake up and work, it's still different. It's still more relaxed. I'm not worried about, I don't know, I always doze off on the way home. I'm not worried. Yeah.
Oh, you driving?
Driving home. I wouldn't actually fall asleep, but I always just be so tired on the way home. Whenever I would stay up later, things like that. And so I just wouldn't. Yeah. And I also, I guess, didn't have anything to stay up for besides feeding my own brain with Netflix or whatever. But now.
Girly movies, yeah.
Yeah, Gavin told me there's a new the Malibu's Rescue.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I got to check that out with him.
Gavin.
But yeah, 2020, it's been a roller coaster, and it's been one of those things where you look back of course I don't want this. Of course this is horrible. Everything that's been going on, it has been awful. But then it's knowing what I know, that's why you can't do that. Would you not go through this year, and
that's true.
How would life be different? I don't know. Maybe being creative and learning cameras and editing, and maybe it's just a short-term thing and something changes, but maybe it's something that lasts forever, and it's been fostered during this horrible season, So it's a weird thing.
Well, and I think to that, every season isn't going to be great,
right?
And I think based on our history together, we've had a lot of rough seasons. So what we do, I would say, is remain honest and transparent and acknowledge what we need, because that's the only way we know we can get through a season.
Right.
I would also say through this time, I don't think that I can honestly say I don't think that your investment in photography would have been the same. So though you have been learning this for work purposes, you've also found a passion for yourself in it.
True.
And in that, so has your son.
Right.
So that's been pretty cool to see. And Gavin has also been doing magic cards, which he didn't know you did it, right. But you took a whole undergrad class for it. You paid for that, and he's got it on YouTube.
Right. More than I did in that class.
Right.
But you get to take from it too, and it's benefiting us as a whole, and it's exciting. And that's no matter the season, I guess that's a really good takeaway, is that you, in the roughest times, in the roughest seasons of life, like, we have to be able to take something positive out of it. And this is the positive. And saying all of this doesn't mean this hasn't been hard.
No, like, God,
even though like there are a lot of positives, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Because I think the positives outweigh the negatives.
The struggles, yeah.
I have woken up many a days like in a funk.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, our entire family. And there have been probably more difficult days than not. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they're like 50-50.
I would say they're 50-50 for me.
That's not normal. Like, it's not, life is difficult.
Yeah.
And it's stressful. And every time you leave the house, it's anxious. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. And that's the hard part. But here's the positive. Mm-hmm. I've gotten this out of it. You've gotten all these things out of it. Our plants are alive. They're not dead.
How about our kids are alive?
Our kids are alive.
The dogs are alive.
And we've had more time with family.
I would say, and this time would be a testament to our friendships that we've had. Mm-hmm. That they're not just all circumstantial, right. And within proximity. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, some of them are, though. Like, I've realized that too. Like,
yeah.
But others, definitely not. Like, I think that probably shines through a lot for people where, you work with somebody every day and you're like, this is my best friend, and then what does that look like now? I don't know that that's still not the case, but it's a way more difficult to keep up friendship. We talked about that last season.
Yeah, last season.
Friendships are so, and I think Byrne was the one to point that out.
Season's episode 2. Yeah,
like, just because it's a work friend doesn't mean it's not a real friend. Mm-hmm. But now they're not really work. If you don't really have work friends anymore because you don't see them every day, like, you really have to keep up with those people.
Yeah.
And, lucky for us, we have like calls and things like that, and we've been able to keep some of the, that normality. Mm-hmm. We've been able to keep some of that normalcy up in terms of our work relationships, our friendships, etc. But outside of that, we definitely have kept friendships going, and that's cool.
That's great.
So I think we say all that to say we are, again, excited to move forward with a new just feeling of Kevin and Tenisha Mix It Up. And, you get to see us. We get to interact in a different way with people. I don't know how excited Tenisha is about
the camera thing. That. Nah.
But you've been on camera for all this Mary Kay stuff. Look at you. You're so put together and beautiful and made up,
whatever,
locked up.
I know. Shout out to Dopest Dreader for getting me together. Yeah, I love her.
As we move forward with the season, we're open to your sponsorships or brand deals. So hit us up for any of that. Definitely would love for everyone watching or listening to share these episodes. Share your favorite episodes from last season. If you haven't listened to last season, go back and listen to that on all the podcast sites. They're also on YouTube as well, just not with our beautiful faces. And engage with us this season. We are planning to bring a handful of different guests on.
I just want to tell them what should they look forward to hearing from us for season 2.
I think it's really going to be directed by the guests that agree to come on and go through this journey with us. We're going to have...
So we've selected people. We've not selected. We have reached out and asked certain people who we vibe well with or who we admire, people that we want others to know about, if that makes sense. And kind of help us and help the listeners with certain things.
So like everything's from relationships to friendships to family life to kids to just everyday life, work,
fun facts.
Just more all-encompassing. And
it's not just going to be about us. Like the first season was, like Kevin said, was just about us. It's not so much going to be about us this season.
Right. And it's going to be conversational. It should be fun, engaging, and exciting. And definitely stay tuned. Check it out. We have...
What we got? Fun.
Stay tuned for all of our episodes and guests. We are dropping these episodes on the week of our 9th anniversary.
Woo-woo.
So
for our 10th one, Kevin's supposed to take me back to Jamaica, FYI.
For sure. That will for sure be happening. I'm saving up the money now. Cash App. help me out. Send Tenisha to Jamaica. I'm not taking her. I'm just sending her.
What?
But let's mix it up and join us for this next journey. Peace.
Bye.